Good evening and welcome to the January 13th, 2025 special joint meeting of the Northampton City Council and School Committee. This is called per section 4.6 of our city charter. I'm Alex Jarrett. As City Council President, I'll be presiding this evening. This meeting and all participating in person and on Zoom will be audio and video recorded. The meeting can also be watched on Comcast Channel 15 or by streaming on Northampton Open Media's YouTube channel. I now call the City Council and School Committee to order. Laura, could you take the roll, please?
Starting City Council, Councilor Dobbs,
Here.
Councilor Elkins,
Here.
Councilor Jarrett,
Here.
Councilor Clemmer. Here. Councilor Labarge. Here. Councilor Maori.
Here.
Councilor Moulton.
Here.
Councilor Perry.
Here.
And Councilor Robinson.
Here.
So, Council President, you have a quorum. Moving on to the School Committee, Mayor Shara,
Here. Present.
Member Agna,
Present.
Member Davis,
Present.
Member Gazy,
Present.
Member Hennessy,
Present.
Member LaBounty,
Here.
Member Miller,
Yes.
and
Here.
Member Seraphy Cox,
On Zoom.
Present.
and Member Stein.
Present.
Are you have a quorum?
Thank you. I'm going to read first section 4.6 of the charter, which describes why we are here. Whenever a vacancy occurs on the school committee, the president of the city council shall, within 30 days following the date of the vacancy, call a joint meeting of the city council and the school committee to fill the vacancy. The city council and school committee shall appoint, by majority vote of those present, a person to fill the vacancy from among the voters entitled to vote for the office. Persons appointed to fill a vacancy by the City Council and School Committee shall serve only until a candidate is elected to the office at the next regular city election and is sworn to the office. The candidate elected to the office filled by appointment prior to the election shall be sworn in to the office immediately upon certification of the results of the election to complete the then unexpired term in addition to the term for which elected. No vacancy shall be filled under this section if a regular city election is to be held within 120 days following the date the vacancy is declared to exist. So we thank Member Foster Cannon for her service. And we have tonight 2 applications from registered voters of Ward 2. I'll just give a brief, before we go to the introductory statements, I'll give a brief overview of the agenda. We will do 3 minutes each from each candidate. Then we will have questions from city councilors and the school committee members, 2 candidates, and there'll be 10 minutes per candidate. Then we'll nominate, we'll discuss, and we'll do a roll call vote. And then we will, City Clerk Pamela Powers will swear in the winning candidate. So the 2 candidates that we have are Angela Wack of 16 Paradise Road and Anat Weisenfreund of 65 Kensington Avenue. So we will start with Angela Wack, and you will have 3 minutes to give an introductory statement. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, members and committee members. Good evening. My name is Angela Wack. I'd like to begin tonight by sharing with you how I came to the decision to run for this position. It's thanks to my child, Emily, who's a freshman at NHS. Since moving to Northampton from Gainesville, Florida in October of 2022, Emily and I have discussed local issues and the importance of civic responsibility and community involvement to ensure a lasting democracy. Last fall, Emily's courage in running for the student union, despite their nerves, inspired me. A week ago, Emily informed me of the open seat on the school committee and encouraged me to try. After reviewing the requirements, I realized this was my opportunity to make a difference. Just as I had encouraged Emily to step outside their comfort zone, the encouragement they gave me, as well as the rest of my family, was the push I needed to step into civic service. Reflecting on my background in education and community leadership, I knew I was ready for this challenge. I hold degrees in both political science and education. I've taught in elementary schools, tutored diverse students both in person and online, and worked with both private and public schools to ensure an excellent education for my own 3 children. For the 8 years preceding our move to Northampton, I served in a variety of leadership roles on the PTA board for a large elementary school in our county, Alachua County, Florida. I successfully led initiatives like coordinating the building of a butterfly garden with an open-air classroom and establishing the school's first DEI committee, both with no cost at all to the school. I was elected to the executive board, reaching term limits as both treasurer and president. My term as president coincided with the pandemic. Despite unprecedented challenges, including the unusual fact that my children didn't attend the school during the last year of my term, nor were they actually county school members at that time, I successfully managed a board of passionate individuals with diverse perspectives, maintaining the board's high standards and core values while navigating a politically charged, incredibly stressful time for our schools, our students, and our community. Through it all, I learned the most important lesson. No matter how many viewpoints there may be, if a community can agree on a common goal, there is always a way to reach it, even if the journey is more challenging than originally imagined. I believe education is the cornerstone of a thriving democratic community. It's where we invest in the next generation, nurture curious minds, and cultivate critical thinking. I understand that challenges lie ahead. We must navigate financial constraints and address the diverse needs of all of our students. But I firmly believe that through collaboration, open communication, and a shared commitment to excellence, we can overcome any obstacle. I am eager to bring my experience, passion, and dedication to the Northampton School Committee, and I thank you all for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Is it question time, or do we?
No, we'll do presentation from the next candidate, and then your round of questions will be first. The next candidate is Anat Weisenfreund, and who is on Zoom. Welcome, Anat.
Thank you. I'm very sorry that I can't be with you in person tonight, but thank God for Zoom, right? Good evening, Mayor Chiara, President Jarrett, City Council and School Committee members. And as you know, my name is Anat Weisenfreund, and thank you, Alex, for that beautiful pronunciation. That doesn't happen very often. And I'm really glad to be here with you tonight as you make your decision to fill the vacant Ward 2 School Committee seat. I sent a rather lengthy statement of interest. I know you've seen it. Just in brief summary, my family and I are longtime residents of Northampton and have lived in Ward 2 for the past 8 years. I have worked with very young, vulnerable children and their families for over 30 years in many different roles, in clinical roles, leadership roles, advocacy roles, and in many different places, in hospitals, in city government in New York City, and in not-for-profit settings. I have chaired and served on boards and other regulatory bodies, and I'm currently the president of the Massachusetts Association for Infant Mental Health. As you know, for the past 15 years, I've directed Community Action's Head Start program. We serve about 400 children every year, and I oversee 130 staff and manage a $12 million budget. Over the years, I and my team have been able to make significant progress. We have radically raised wages, implemented relationship-based and trauma-informed approaches, and prioritized wellness for staff. These changes have resulted in fewer vacancies and drastically reduced turnover. And we did what we did in service of supporting children and families, and in service of the stability of relationships throughout our system of care. We all know it's the quality and consistency of relationships that are primary for the healthy development, education, and success of our children. And I really loved Angela Mack's statement, and there's so much we agree on in terms of her statements on a shared commitment to excellence and collaboration. And if you do select me, you'll find that I'm someone who thinks very deeply about relationships, not just the relationships between students and teachers and staff, but relationships of all of us with each other, because I really believe that the way we are with each other really impacts the way that staff can be with children and directly impacts the development and healthy education of our children. Over the past 2 weeks, I've had the pleasure of speaking with many of you about our schools and about the many really important issues facing our students, families, and staff, and by extension, the really important issues requiring continued care and leadership from both the school committee and the city council. I would be honored to lend my experience and skills in service of our city's children, families, and educators, and to have the opportunity to work alongside all of you as the interim school committee member for Ward 2. And I welcome your questions.
Thank you. Now we will take questions from city councilors and school committee members for Angela Wack. We will have 10 minutes for this. And please keep your questions short so we will have more time to hear from the candidates. 30 seconds will be ideal, 1 minute is the maximum. Start a timer for 10.
I just,
Okay. Absolutely. Okay, welcome back. And questions? Councilor Rothenberg.
Hello.
Hi.
I am the city councilor for Ward 3. My name starts with a Q. It's Quaverly Rothenberg.
Okay.
And I wanted to just start out by first thanking you and thanking Emily. That was your child's name,
Yes,
right?
yes, it was.
And I'm so grateful that both of you took advantage of this opportunity and had that impulse to serve. I really want everyone in the community to feel like this is a job anyone in the community can do and should do. I think it's healthy when we have turnover. It's healthy when we have different perspectives. And even in a bigger cultural picture of turnover, I noticed that the people who came here post-pandemic to join our community have been such a huge benefit to the way that we think about our civics. And you're really the most recent wave of people who have come here from
10 seconds left.
my question is, no matter what happens tonight, will you please send me a message so we can have coffee?
Absolutely.
Because I want you to be involved somewhere, anywhere. There's so much to do.
Absolutely. I appreciate all your wonderful words.
Thank you.
Other members and committee members. Member Seraphy Cox.
One is a process question for you, and then I have an actual question. When we have interviewed candidates for employment through the school committee, like the superintendent and the other positions that we have hired, we've made sure to ask the same questions of both candidates. Is that a part of what is planned tonight?
I paused the time for that process question. It is not. However, people certainly may ask the same questions.
Okay, I just, that was recommended to us as a best practice in terms of, I know this isn't exactly hiring, but sort of. So that would be my suggestion.
Okay,
So,
I'm resuming the time.
Okay, so my question for both candidates is the role of school committee is in some ways limited and in some ways expansive. It's not the sort of job where you necessarily can dig in and create programs or make change happen super quickly, and that can be really frustrating. And I've seen it be really frustrating for several members of the school committee who have served with me and are no longer serving in part because they were frustrated with that. And so I'm curious how you come to the position, with that knowledge, how will you not be frustrated by the slow-moving sausage making of our processes?
Okay, thank you. I have experienced very frustrating working with very frustrating people before, and I am very capable of sitting back, building relationships, getting done what can get done, and working on those things that may take a little bit longer. There are going to be a wide variety of viewpoints on any issue that you're looking at, and the goal is to come to a consensus and to try. And sometimes you come to the consensus even if you have very differing views. If you can establish a good goal, you can establish a goal that you're working towards. Then I'm a strong believer, because of my experience, that you will eventually reach that goal. It might take a really long time, and there might be a lot of frustration in the process, and you might have to bite your tongue a lot, because part of being frustrated is making sure that you don't accidentally say something that you are thinking, or that you might want to say. And believe me, dealing during the pandemic in Florida and being in a leadership position at a school there was likely the most frustrating position that I ever could have been in. I love Northampton, and I really think that everybody here has the same goal of excellent communication and fiscal responsibility in mind. And I think that the fact that we do share that goal, even if we're very different on how to reach that goal, will make it a less frustrating process to get to that goal.
Thank you. Member Agna.
Hi, Angela. Thank you again for applying. And my question is, if you could have everything you wanted, what 3 things would you want for the Northampton schools?
That is a very good question. I do have 2 students that are going to the schools now. I have one in 9th grade at NHS and one in 7th grade at JFK. One of the things that I have experienced here, honestly, it is a tremendous benefit to having moved here, because the class sizes are smaller, the instruction is more depth. There is so much more civics and history up here taught in the schools that I can see why Massachusetts has gained its reputation as being the leader in education. For Northampton schools, I would like to see students start coming back and want to come back, because I know that one of the issues we're facing is attrition. And I do know when we came up here, and it's a long story, and I didn't want to not get into public schools, but it was better for the consistency of my child's education, as my youngest went to campus school at Smith College for the end of 5th grade and then 6th grade. And I was very surprised in the middle of 6th grade, whenever we started discussing where they were going from middle school, that JFK was not the first option for the majority of the people. And that was disconcerting to me. And regardless of their opinion, I sent my child to this school, and I've been very happy with this. But I would like to be able to bring those people back that are leaving for whatever reason, whether it's for charter schools or private schools, or they just wanted to be homeschooled. I'd also like to build it appears to me from my little experience that there's some getting back to normal that still needs to happen from after the pandemic that's just starting to resume. I would like to assist with that so that the athletics at NHS are built back up to what they were. And I also would like to be able to have proper funding for the schools that we need, and that can look a variety of ways. One of the things that I noticed when I was doing my research for this position is the state does not pay very much. I believe it was about 18%. And that was shocking to me, because Massachusetts is education. They're known for their education. And when I looked at what they did at the schools where I came from, the state paid 53%. So it seems as though there's some need to work with the state to try to get some funding into the schools. But also, one of the things that I accomplished while I was on the PTA board was we were a school that did not have enough Title I students to be able to qualify for Title I, which, for those of you that don't know, are your lower socioeconomics. And we also made a little too much money to get some extra stuff from the state. So I feel it was parallel to Northampton in a lot of ways. We did a lot of fundraising. And even during the pandemic, when we couldn't get together, we raised $40,000 each year, which may not seem like a lot of money in the whole scheme of a millions of dollar budget, but it was enough to replace all the old furniture in the school. It was enough to buy some technology that a lot of other schools in the district were able to get with Title I money that we weren't entitled to. So it was a way to fill in a lot of the gaps and give grants to teachers so they could have those extras that they needed to be able to deliver the curriculum in an effective manner.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Glenn.
Mayor Shara.
Thank you. I'm over here. Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there a particular aspect of the position or an area that's under the jurisdiction of the position that you would like to focus on?
So it's my understanding from how the procedures work, that I will be on the budget committee, because that is the predecessor's position, and for now, that's what I would be taking over. Should I be fortunate enough to take the position, I would intend on running in November, and I do have interest in budget, but I also have interest in curriculum. Those are two of my my big interests. And I am somebody who would kind of get on the board, or the committee, and I'm not going to not contribute, but I want to learn because I know some of you have been here your entire lives. You know more than I do. And I would like to be able to integrate that into my ideas to come up with something that will help move the community forward.
Councilor Moulton?
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask you to address your experience and skills with conflict resolution and how you might apply those as a public official.
Okay. I have a couple of examples that there was a lot of conflict, as you guys probably saw on the news and during the pandemic. Our county was the one that was the superintendent was constantly on CNN, and unfortunately ended up losing her job over it. But despite all of that, and there was police that had to go to the school board meetings, and there was protests outside of a lot of the schools, and it was not a friendly environment for education. But with all of that, I was able to maintain our school board, which had just as many varying positions on the items, whether it was kids shouldn't wear masks, or we don't need vaccines, or all of the things I'm sure you're very familiar with from the news during the pandemic. I was able to help people set those aside and focus on the goal, the work at hand. You're entitled to your opinion. Everybody is. And I can't convince you one way or I shouldn't have to force you one way or another to change your opinion. But we can all agree that we need excellent schools. And Northampton has a history of excellence, and we can continue that.
So that is time for the 10 minutes. If you have a sentence to finish, please do.
That was good, but thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's okay. Okay, we will now turn to Anat Weisenfreund, and there will be 10 minutes for questions. I will prioritize people who haven't asked questions so far, and we'll start the 10 minutes. Questions? Councilor Dubs.
Yes, thank you. I was going to ask the same question of Angela also, so I was, I'm just want to introduce myself. I'm Jeremy Dubs, a counselor in Ward 4. My question, I just have two parts to my question. The first part is my own question, and the second part is a question from a Ward 4 resident who used to be on the school committee who I reached out to see what her thoughts might be. What perspectives, ideas, or forward-thinking strategies would you bring to the school committee in regards to the school budget and what many in our community would describe as a crisis of understaffing and underfunding at our public schools? And then the second part of my question would be, what would you bring to the table that will help you to get up and running with the complex work of the committee, given that it's a short term? As you know, it's a huge curve to learn this work. Thank you. And thank you for your willingness to serve on the school committee.
Thank you so much. I am going to ask you, please, to repeat the first question. That was a very long, multi-part question.
Sorry
I'd
about
like to
that.
hear-
Yeah, let me just open my phone up again real quick. What perspectives, ideas, or forward-thinking strategies would you bring to the school committee in regards to the school budget and what many in our community would describe as a crisis of understaffing and underfunding at our public schools? Thanks.
Well, that's the whole job, right now. I think that I come from a perspective that everybody who is here and who is here to serve the city and to serve the schools and to serve children and families wants to do well and brings expertise to the table. So I think that it's been, and I think back about the last question of conflict resolution that was asked, right? Because it has become really clear, I think, to all of us, right, in these couple of weeks leading up to today, that there are many communication challenges and strategic challenges really facing us. So I think that I start with positive strength-based assumptions about everybody who's here, with the assumption that everybody wants to do well, that everybody here has already done so many important things in service of our schools. I come with the perspective that conflict is, I'm basically a developmentalist. So when I think about conflict, I think about it as a necessary thing, not always pleasant, but necessary. Sometimes things have to fall apart in order to come together in a new way. So that is, again, another perspective that I have on what was earlier described as the frustration of slow sausage making. I think that I'm, a very thoughtful person. I know a lot about organizations. I know a lot about people. I know a lot about budgets. And yes, it will be a learning curve, and I will spend time to try to really understand the issues, because I think one of the things that's been disconcerting to me, frankly, as I've talked to many people before today, is that there doesn't seem to be even agreement on some basic facts. And so I would really try to bring my experience and my thoughtfulness and my reflective nature and my skills to try to understand for myself, to the best of my ability, what those facts are. And the other thing is, about conflict and perspectives, I think that I respect people's passion, right? So when someone is angry, like, I want to try to understand, why are they so angry about this? I've worked with parents my whole life, right? So when a parent comes in really pissed off that, their kid got their clothes dirty on the playground, it would be very tempting to be defensive and to lecture them about, how this is part of childhood and so forth and so on. But I think that our job, serving the city of Northampton, is to try to listen and understand first. So I think that's my kind of winded answer to the first question. Could you just briefly repeat the second question too?
Okay, yeah, I think you answered it pretty much.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you did a
Okay.
great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Labarge?
Thank you. I would like to ask you, what interested you in applying for the appointment for school committee in Ward 2?
Thank you.
The second question?
It's a really good question. And I don't know that I have a really good answer, but I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth is that I feel like I've done a lot of things in my life, right? I've been a clinician, and I've been an administrator, and all those things that I talked to you about and read, but I've never done this before. And I really, I've been feeling like it's time for me to give back in a different way to the community. My child is in college now. She was a high school student at Northampton High, but she's in college now. I have a little bit more space in my brain to think about doing other things. And, I honestly, sometimes the things I do based on intuition, and it kind of fell into my lap. And when I got that email from Councilor Klemmer, and then I met with Karen, it just felt like the right thing to do, both in terms of what I might be able to bring, but also in terms of my own development and my own growth as a professional person.
Thank
Okay,
you.
one more question I have. I thought there was two.
All right.
And also if you are appointed tonight to be
Yes.
on school committee for Ward 2, is there a particular issue that you are interested in working on?
Well, yes, I think I'm interested in figuring out with all of you what the main thing we're working on right now, right? All the issues around funding our schools, the different, understanding the different points of view, and coming to a solution, because in the end, I think this isn't about us, right? This is about the schools. And so however I can be useful, and again, as my colleague said, I understand I'll be on the Budget and Properties Committee if I'm selected, and I would look forward to that. But, I would want to be useful wherever I can be useful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Member LaBounty?
Thank you. Hello. Thank you so much for applying. Appreciate that. My question is, it sounds like I don't know if you've talked to the school committee members. It sounds like you've talked to a couple of counselors. the role is different than a city councilor. It is the school committee member. So sometimes our thoughts align and sometimes they don't. And sometimes our votes align and sometimes they don't. And sometimes the public doesn't like your vote. Sometimes your committee members don't like your vote. And I guess my thought is how will you sort of manage voting your conscience versus voting what maybe other people would like you to do, which will happen, and you will hear from people. So I guess I'm interested to see how comfortable you are in voting yourself.
Okay, thank you. That's a great question. I've been accused of a lot of things, but not being independent is not one of them. In fact, it's gotten me in trouble at multiple points of my life. I'm a strong person. I have my own thoughts. I don't. Again, I think there's some things that I will have to learn. But once I understand what the issue is and I'm clear on it, I really don't look back. I'm happy to have arguments and disagreements. It's how I manage. It's how I am in my life. When I hired my staff, I said to them, I need you to tell me when you disagree with me. I've always been a very independent person. I've made kind of a non-traditional kind of path for myself professionally. And I'm confident in my decisions, and I also am not afraid to say I was wrong and backtrack. And that's the beautiful thing about most things in life, right? That most things in life can be repaired. So if I make a mistake, I will be thinking on it, and I'm not afraid to say either I was wrong and I changed my position.
Thank you. We only have 20 seconds left, so is there anything else you'd like to say?
What time is it?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes, yes. There's no time for another question.
Thank you. No, just really thank you for all your time. This is a very exciting and different process for me, and I would be honored to serve. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have heard that's questions from the candidates. And now we come to nomination of candidates by city councilors and school committee members. It doesn't need to be seconded. Any person can nominate someone. Councilor Clemmer.
I just want to thank both of you for stepping up in this midterm, and I hope whoever doesn't get elected tonight, I hope you stay involved in the school committee because you both will have a lot to offer. But I'd like to nominate Anat Weisenfreud for this position. I've heard from a lot of constituents and in favor of Anat. Unfortunately, Angela, you came in kind of late, so we didn't have too much time, but I was really excited. I think you'd be a wonderful member of the school committee also, and I really appreciate you stepping up and being a new resident here. And thanks, Anat, for reading my newsletter. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Are there other nominations? Member Hennessy.
Sure, I'd like to nominate Angela Wack for the position also. And I want to say both candidates, I don't know where I'm looking, but what a great thing. We have two excellent candidates and really different skill sets, experiences, and experience in Northampton, which I think actually both are really positive. So I think we're in a really fortunate position that someone would want to be on the school committee.
Okay, we have two candidates nominated. Are there any other nominations? Okay, we will now have a discussion.
Councilor Jarrett, could we just have a very brief recess, like 2 minutes?
We will have a 2-minute recess and return at 6:43. Welcome back to the joint Northampton School Committee and City Council meeting. We now come to the discussion of the two candidates that have been nominated. Councilors and members. Councilor Elkins.
I just want to start by saying this is the most awkward thing I think I've ever experienced, the idea of, of having this kind of election and having sort of a discussion. So I just want to say I'm familiar, I haven't met either of you, either candidate at any, I've had a brief email exchange, but I just want to echo what a great position we're in to have two such thoughtful candidates who are coming at it with such different perspectives. So I frankly wish I had a little more to offer right now beyond. I'm anxious to hear what my colleagues think because I think I'm very glad to see that we have a hard decision in front of us.
Councilor Perry. There's a lot. My eyes have
I know,
been round and round.
I think I just want to echo everyone's statements that I'm very thankful for both Angela and Anat for stepping up. And this is very difficult. Personally, 10 minutes of questions is not very much. So I'm hoping that maybe other folks can tease out or give me some information. I am familiar with Angela, but I have not met you and not, but I think that the city is really lucky that people of such fine quality and caliber have stepped up. And as we said before, like you both bring great skills to the table and two different perspectives. So right now I'm trying to mill about, what is the best choice, but I hope that when elections come along that, I can see you more and we can talk in November.
Member Davis.
I also am delighted and impressed by these two, the caliber of the candidates. Thank you so much. And one thing that caught my ear for both of you, which is both candidates, makes it an embarrassment of riches, as my dad would say. Mentioning relationships, I think, Anat, you said something like the way we are with each other impacts the children. I thought that was a really beautiful thing to say, and I had a question that I was wondering, like, what does that look like? But Angela also talked about navigating politically charged environments successfully, and how difficult that must be. So that takes tremendous strength, and listening to one another is really key. So I'm keeping those in mind as I'm thinking about the candidates.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Member Hennessy.
I'll always speak if there's an opportunity. I guess I'm thinking, and again, I'm not, in my head, I love that we have a person new to the community and offers a fresh perspective on who we are and what we can do and possibilities. And I also like that we have someone who's been here for, I can't remember the exact numbers, but 22 years or 8 in the ward. And I think that's really important too. I also like that one candidate, her child is out of the schools. That's very nice. And then we have the other candidate who has 2 students in the schools still. You have a little skin in the game. So all of those things are factoring in my thinking and my ultimately my decision. But again, I'm repeating myself, but I'm really happy with both candidates. So, period.
Who's she happy with? Both. No.
Member Seraphy Cox.
Yeah, thank you. I will echo all of the positive things that my colleagues said without needing to repeat them. For myself, I think I'm leaning a bit more in the direction of Anat. I think that the way that she articulated the role and the vision that she had for the difference she could, the impact she could have in serving more closely aligns with what we actually do on the committee. And not to say anything negative, of course, about the other candidate. That sounded like an answer that had been, thought through for a while, which makes sense since the other candidate was newer to the process. But as my colleague said, I hope there are many things to do in this district, more than enough for all of us. But that would be my vote.
Mayor Shara.
I also just want to say that I'm extremely grateful to the two candidates that are here today. Also, there was a third candidate who I actually had the opportunity to meet and talk to, who withdrew, and I just want to acknowledge him too. I think all three would be really be really good members of the school committee, and stepping up for public service is never a small commitment or an act. And I thank all three of you for your interest and your eagerness to serve and your dedication to your community. Both of you have really varied and impressive experience, and I think would bring a new perspective. I will say, so I did have the opportunity to spend time with Anat, and unfortunately, I didn't have that time to spend it with Angela. But Councilor Perry, you were asking for people who maybe had a little bit more information. One thing I could say that you could glean certainly from the resume and the information that Anat had shared was, and she also spoke about it a little bit tonight, was her just really extensive budgetary experience. And it was great to meet with her and sort of geek out with her on some of the humongous budgets that she's been responsible for or been a part of working on. And it is my intention to appoint whoever we choose to the Budget and Property Subcommittee. So I really value that experience that Anat has.
Thank you. Councilor Moulton.
I have a mic.
Sure you can.
Thank you. So I too thank both candidates for being here tonight. Very interesting to hear the perspectives that you would bring. I think you're both qualified to serve and would add to the school committee. In thinking about what might, in my mind, separate the two, I like Anat's experience not only with large budgets, as the mayor just mentioned, but also large staffs, and particularly her experience working with very vulnerable children in our greater community through the Community Action Program. So I think that separates her a bit for me in terms of what I would identify as the critical experiences that she would bring to the school committee.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Any other discussion? Councilor Labarge.
Thank you. I have to echo what Councilor Moulton was just talking about. With her experience, I have to agree. Community action for quite a long period of time. And I'm looking at exactly what she has dealt with for many, many years of working with many children or whoever from community action of diversity right down the line. I also have a problem with Angela. I talked with her today, and I heard more and more today. And I agree with Councilor Elkins. This is difficult here, but it's for a short term anyways. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, again is election. You can run for that too again. Mm-hmm. Whoever. But right now, I am looking at Anak very closely because of all the experience of working with people, with children, different types of programs, and also how she apparently presents herself of making sure that if there is a problem, you attempt to try to work it out very, very closely with whoever you're working with. And to me, that is very important and important for the community. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone who hasn't spoken who wishes to speak? Member Agna.
I won't repeat everybody's acknowledgement of what amazing candidates we have. We definitely do, and I'm just so pleased as a community elder that we have people who are still wanting to be a part of our community in our elected offices. I speak as a person whose background is early childhood, and I worked sometimes with Anat or in when I was the early childhood coordinator, and it's not because I think that she can be a great person for early childhood. I know she is, but I also understand what a background in early childhood brings to groups. It's more like human development, and it is about people who understand human behavior and don't get freaked out about it necessarily when people are angry. I liked your answer about people get angry. They get angry, and we shouldn't shy away from it. But when we look at the fact that there are so many perspectives in this community, right now particularly, there are, I feel that the background that she has is something that will bring a real important piece to our school committee. And so that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else who hasn't spoken? Yeah, Member Miller.
Again, both candidates were excellent, and I think that, come November, there'll be another opportunity. However, I think that because the new member would need to be really skilled and experienced with large budgets, and because they'll be on the Finance Committee, subcommittee, I think that that is the most important issue right now. And so I am leaning that I think Anat has the most experience with the large budgets and would bring something to the Finance Subcommittee.
Thank you. Councilor Clemmer.
Yeah, I just want to echo that about the sliding into the position in the middle of a term is difficult. She won't have the training that you all have, that you get when you come in the normal time. And I think for that reason, Anat could pick up with the budget and with what's going on. And I think, Angela, I think you would learn very, very quickly, too. And I was extremely impressed talking to you the other day. And, it's a really hard decision. I wish you could just both do it. And I don't think that's legal, though. But, yeah, I was thrilled that, we have two wonderful candidates. And, it's been hard to get candidates in a regular election. So, we're very lucky. So, whoever doesn't get it, please stick around. And like someone said, the election's coming up again, so there's going to be opportunities there.
Anyone else who hasn't? Okay, Councilor Elkins.
I don't actually have additional. I just wanted to clarify something from Councilor Labarge. Just for the benefit of Angela, you said you had a problem with Angela. I interpreted that to mean that it's such a difficult choice. And that she's a positive candidate. So I just wanted to clarify that I think that's what I interpreted, that you were speaking to what a difficult choice we had, not that.
With her, you meant it was a problem because they're both good candidates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I just didn't, I would hate for that to have been misconstrued, so.
They're both good candidates.
Great.
The problem is.
Thank you. Any other comments before we go to the vote?
Just want to clarify it.
Counselor Maori?
Yeah, I would just say that you both should run for a public office because you might find running a campaign easier than this hour and a half together. So, yeah, please, I really want to see both of you out there, and thank you so much.
And I will add, I've talked with both of you for an hour, and yeah, we have two great candidates. I'm choosing Anat, as I think her experience, honesty, thoughtfulness will serve the committee well during this period. Okay, seeing no more, we will do a roll call, and that roll call, you will say the name of the candidate that you wish to elect.
Okay. Counselor Dobbs.
Anat?
Counselor Elkins.
Anat.
Counselor Jarrett.
Anat Weisenfreund?
Counselor Clemmer.
Anat Weisenfreund.
Counselor Labarge.
Anat.
Counselor Maori.
Anat Weisenfreund.
Counselor Moulton.
Anat Weisenfreund.
Counselor Perry.
Well, I will just to give it different, I will go with Angela Wack.
Counselor Rothenberg.
Abstain.
Mayor Shara.
Anat Weisenfreund.
Member Agna.
Anat Reisenfreud.
Member Davis.
Anat.
Member Gazy.
Anat.
Member Hennessy.
Angela Wack.
Member LaBounty.
Anat.
Member Miller.
Anat.
Member Seraphy Cox.
Anat Weisenfreund.
And Member Stein.
Abstain.
Okay, can you give us the total count?
It's 14 for Anat Weisenfreund, and 1, 2 abstentions, and 2 for Angela Watt.
Okay, so we have a majority for Anat Weisenfreund. Congratulations, Anat.
Thank you so much. Wow, thank you.
We will now swear in the new Ward 2 School Committee member by our City Clerk, Pamela Powers.
Pamela Powers. I'd love to see our clerk. Celebrity.
If you could use
Probably
the
at the mic.
microphone.
Good evening, everyone. Congratulations, Anat. I just need for you to repeat after me. I, and please state your name,
I, Anat Weisenfreund,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a member of the Northampton School Committee according to the best of my abilities, agreeably to
I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
agreeably to the rules and regulations of the Constitution,
the rules and regulations of the Constitution,
the laws of the Commonwealth,
the laws of the Commonwealth,
the Charter, ordinances and rules of the City of Northampton.
ordinances and rules of the City of Northampton.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is the
I
end.
shall return to the United States on the 22nd of the month.
Excellent.
Great. We look forward to.
You better.
Thank you so much, everybody. I really look forward to working with everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it time for us to go?
Yes, it is time to adjourn,
You need
and
to
we
go to
will.
bed, right?
We need a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Perry and seconded by Counselor Elkins. We need a roll call vote on adjournment.
And the councilors are all physically present.
Oh, should we do this separately? I was just
Yeah.
going to do it all together. Would you prefer?
We could just do
Yeah.
half.
Since we're not all present, it would have to be, however you want to do it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, I'm sorry, I thought.
I was just going to
This could
do,
be a voice vote, and theirs could be a roll call. Maybe all has to be roll call. Okay, that's fine. Counselor Duff,
Yes.
Counselor Elkins,
Yes, sorry.
Counselor Jarrett,
yes.
Counselor Clemmer,
Yes.
Counselor Labarge,
Yes.
Counselor Maori,
Yes.
Counselor Moulton.
Yes.
Counselor Perry.
Yes.
Counselor Rothenberg.
Yep.
Mayor Shara.
Yes.
Member Agna.
Member Agna.
Member,
Member Davis.
Yes.
Member Gazy.
Yes.
Member Hennessy.
Yes.
Member LaBounty.
Yes.
Member Miller.
Yes.
Member Seraphy Cox.
Yes.
And Member Stein.
Yes. We are adjourned.
thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.